At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where I am here with my good friend Pete Wilson to do the morning news update, which is brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. Got to talk to Nia the other day. It was good to chat with her. And if you are in need of any real estate things, give her a call, 740-418-4135. And she will work hard for you, like she always does.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's in the blood.
Yes, it is. Something like that. So what's going on, Mr. Wilson?
Okay, well, we got kind of a potpourri to come at you, and I'm going to have some help today.
Okay.
Phil Buffington will be along later on to report on a couple really important developments on the news side that I think you'll find interesting. One thing in particular out of the county commissioners that involves a lot of land in Jackson County. So he'll talk about that.
Sure.
It's a speculative thing right now, but very well could come to fruition. So we'll see about that. He's got all the details, and we'll have that story in the paper as well. Jeremiah Shaver will be along at the end of the hour, towards the end of the hour. He was at Pig Iron Day, did a very good day covering that. I was on the back end of it because if you're there all day, that's long.
Yeah.
As we all know, Dave Channel and his group puts together an outstanding day. A lot of people love to come. And here's the thing that I'll say about Pig Iron Day. I'm not going to steal all of Jeremiah's thunder, but we have all this sad economic news, inflation. Well, inflation has not hit Pig Iron Day yet.
No, it has not. Very reasonable.
It looked like to me, they still have the free pop and water, and then also the food was the same prices as before, and that is going to bring a crowd. It's just like coupons when they send them in the mail to you, or they say BOGO, buy one get one free. Those are the spurs. I got to do that. So anyway, Pig Iron Day, big crowd. Key, of course, the weather. It was hot, but there was no rain at all. There was a threat of rain late. The car show people were looking towards the sky, but they got through it okay. 124 automobiles.
Wow,
they're
that's
classic
great.
cars. So we'll tell you who the winners were, and we'll show you the one that was the car club favorite here in just a little bit.
Love that.
But we'll go with the hard news first. Some people may have noticed this on our social media. It happened Friday afternoon, too late for us to get it in the paper. We do have it on the website, but there was a 3-vehicle wreck on State Route 93 between Jackson and Oak Hill. It happened at the Zane Oak Road intersection, which is about 3 miles north of Oak Hill. And it was not an intersection accident as far as, somebody turning onto the road, but it was at the intersection. 3 different vehicles, could have been a lot worse. The way it turned out, there was 4 injuries, but only 2 were transported. 2 others refused transport. But this is one of the vehicles that was involved. It was one of those wrecks where there was a person, a motorist who was driving north, and they were slowing to make a turn onto Zane Oak Road, not from Zane Oak Road, but onto Zane Oak Road.
Okay.
Another vehicle was behind it, and it slowed because the vehicle that was getting ready to turn left, that is the third vehicle right there. That's the lead vehicle. the second vehicle there that Dylan had on there, if you could put it back on there, Dylan, that was a truck with a trailer that was the second in line.
Okay.
Well, this was a chain reaction accident. What happened was that compact car was first. The second was the truck with the trailer, and then another pickup truck was behind the truck with the trailer, and it was not able to stop in time.
Gotcha.
It hit the truck with the trailer. It bumped it into the pickup or the compact car that was in front. As you can see, this is the third vehicle. You can see the front end damage there.
Yep.
That was the vehicle that was in back that
Gotcha.
Was considered to
It
be
was the caboose.
Yeah, the at-fault wreck. But the names involved in there, we did have one local person involved, James Roach, age 72 of Oak Hill. He was operating the compact car. It was a Ford Focus. That was he had stopped to make a left turn onto Zane Oak Road, had the turn signal on and everything. Right behind was a 1996 Ford Ranger with that trailer. That was driven by Johnny Myers of Oak Hill. And he was able to, stop. He had to stop because there was the Ford Focus in front. The 2060 Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck, operated by Scott Stone, age 53 of Pedro, that was the pickup truck that ran into the back of the Myers vehicle. As a result, the impact knocked the Myers vehicle into the rear of Roach's vehicle, which you might expect. The Myers vehicle then was forced off the right side of the road before coming to a stop. Mr. Stone was issued a citation for failing to maintain assured clear distance. On the injury side, Mr. Myers in the middle vehicle there, and a juvenile passenger, means under the age of 18, were transported from the scene by Jackson County EMS. They were described, thankfully, as only minor injuries.
Okay.
No injuries were reported from the occupants of the other two vehicles. We know from scanner traffic, it was initially came across the scanner as possibly two other injuries, but those persons did refuse transport, and they were listed later officially as no injuries.
Well, I guess that's the best news scenario out of a bad situation.
Right. The crash does remain under investigation, although, that citation has been issued. The Highway Patrol did put this traffic advisory in at the end. They remind motorists to never drive distracted and always wear their safety belts. So, when you're driving on State Route 93 there, you have a lot of intersections there. A lot of people live on those county and township roads.
Yes.
And so you've always got to be ready for a vehicle slowing to make a turn, particularly a left turn against traffic where, they may have to come to a stop.
Sure.
And that was the kind of wreck that this was. Okay, speaking of traffic of a different variety, we're going to go north to Vinton County on U.S. Route 50. And there is a big paving project going on there. Both east and west of MacArthur, the ODOT is doing some paving. And in conjunction with that, part of the project is a crosswalk project in front of Vinton County High School. We've talked about that before. Well, Red Thompson Jr. was there last week, and this is the site. Boy, it's a pretty blue sky there, isn't it?
Look at that. It looks fake.
Right. No, Red did not paint that. It's not a paint by number deal. It's the real thing. Those cumulus clouds or whatever they are there. But anyway.
I can't remember that either, Pete.
But anyway, you can see the yellow sign there. That is where the crosswalk is. It is almost done. And of course, school is going to be starting in less than 2 weeks, a week and a half. The signals are not operating yet. But what it will allow is, and this is considered to be such an important safety project because there's more traffic, more commercial buildup there on the west side of MacArthur on 50. This is right by the high school, the middle school, of course, right adjacent to it. This will allow pedestrians, and I assume a lot of students, to be able to cross 50 more safely. There was no crosswalk there before. Now there's going to be a crosswalk, and there's going to be a signal there that a pedestrian, can hit that button and, be able to safely cross the highway, and it will stop the traffic coming from either the east or the west there.
Well, and the thing is, people need to, drivers need to pay attention to that.
Right,
and if
yeah.
that light's flashing, that means stop.
Right, and you're rolling in, say, from the west on US 50, you got highway speeds there, and suddenly you're in a school zone and a commercial zone there. And so that's why this crosswalk is so important. In town, we have the walks and the don't walks, but that's stop and go traffic. This is traffic coming on the highway.
Like on a highway,
so this is a very important project. It is not quite complete yet, but it's expected to be completed anytime. Superintendent Rick Brooks with the Vinton County Schools very happy that that is being done and in advance of the school year. School starts August the 16th. That is a week from this coming Wednesday. And it is being paid for by Ohio Department of Transportation safety funds. Shelley and Sands is doing the crosswalk work as well as the paving. I think there's another contractor in there with some of the electronic work on the signals, but they have solar-powered flashing lights and a lot of new roadway signage that is up there for that project. So that is a big deal in MacArthur and Vinton County, and it's almost done. Okay, we're going to go back down south now for another project. We talked about this earlier in the year, and this is ongoing. We've got to stay with this. That is the world's largest acorn project in Oak Hill. And of course, led by the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce.
I love that.
They've got a fundraising campaign to raise enough money to build and install what they hope will be the world's largest acorn. Now, you know, they've given themselves a challenge to meet because they just don't want any acorn. They want the largest. And to do this, they're going to have to beat a sculpture in Raleigh, North Carolina that is 10 feet tall and weighs 1,250 pounds. Now,
there you go.
There may have been some figures floated around there on possible costs, but obviously they're going to have to, they want to meet the size thing, but they're going to have to adjust to the amount of money they have. And I'm sure there's a certain minimum amount of money they need. And I do know this, they need more than they have now. Right now, this was reported at the last Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce meeting. They have been able to pick up $3,355. Not bad for a small community. Yeah. A lot of smaller donations, I'm sure. They will gladly accept larger donations, corporate donations. I think that the minimum donation for this is $25. So, you know, a lot of individuals and smaller businesses should be able, you know, to do that.
Sure.
But not only is this a pride thing, they want to be able to put this acorn up and dedicate it in November in conjunction with the Oak Hill Sesquicentennial.
Mm-hmm.
Sesquicentennial. Right, 150 years, celebration from the time that Oak Hill was founded. But they believe that if they can do this, it's not only a point of pride for Oak Hill and, you know, the heritage Oak Hill, the name Oak Hill, but also they believe it can be a tourist attraction. Because, you know, when you're traveling out and about, Jennifer, you may be heading to the beach or heading to Yellowstone Park or wherever, but you pass these things and they got these statues, the world's largest this, the world's largest that.
Look at the Mothman. And how many people travel to see that?
Right. Excellent example. So you get off the highway to look. Yeah. Well, that's what they're hoping will happen with this world's largest acorn. You know, you're passing on 35 or 32, maybe Oak Hill will have a billboard along there. It's 10 miles down the road, but hey, let's make a side trip and see the world.
Why not?
Get our picture taken.
And get a Callie's Pizza while you're at it.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what they're saying, you know, some business and attention for Oak Hill. They believe that it can be an honest-to-God tourist attraction.
Sure.
So the next thing that's going to happen outside of the fundraising is that they are going to get a scale model from the Romar Metal Fabricating Incorporation. That is a local company. Mm-hmm. And this will show the chamber folks and the people driving this, and the public for that matter, what the acorn could look like. Depending on the cost, they might have to change the plans or design. They hope that there's a little room for tweaking in there if they don't get, you know, as much money as they would like. The chamber doesn't know what the total cost of the project is going to be. They just know how big they want it to be.
Okay.
But if you want to donate, the Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce will accept donations. Donation forms can be found on the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. Now, here's the good news. If you make a donation, and, you know, maybe it's, you know, maybe some people, you know, it's pinching their wallet to even make a small donation, but they want to be part of this. If they're not able to pull it off, they just can't get enough money, they will refund all the donations.
Oh, wow.
So Curtis Strickland, Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce president, has been a great idea man and leader during the sesquicentennial celebration and all these monthly events they're having. He is the contact. And he is active on Facebook, but the Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce Facebook, that is where to go for more information and to make a donation.
Be part of the world's largest acorn.
Right, exactly. Okay, we're not going to say a whole lot about this, but we want to tell you about a new business in MacArthur, just a little bit. Maybe Dylan can put up a picture or two. But Red Thompson Jr. was up bright and early on Saturday morning for a ribbon cutting and open house at the All Ohio Hair, Skin, and Nails Salon that is in MacArthur. It's actually in the industrial park just north of MacArthur. There you see some of the folks that were there for, kind of like the dedication. Bobby Yates, who has been in the salon business for a while, she is the new owner, the first-time owner. Red said it's a very impressive facility there. They're going to have tanning beds, a facial room. They had a soft opening actually back in May, and in the meantime, they've done remodeling. So, now they're ready, to go full bore with their new look and their new facilities. And we will have a story coming up probably in next Saturday's paper. Red was there, did a nice interview, and that was one of the pictures that we were able to show you of some of the folks. It's actually a pretty good-sized beauty salon there in MacArthur, just north of the village there in the industrial park. All right, State Issue 1. Your time is running out.
Yep.
It is now too late to vote early in person. They eliminated that Monday day. You can do it, I think, until 2 p.m. in recent elections. They eliminated that, I think, for efficiency. But they did announce, and they extended hours prior to Monday. For instance, you could vote over the weekend at the boards of election all throughout the state. And you can still vote absentee. You can still, pick up a form, or if you have a form and haven't turned it in, you can do it as late as tomorrow, before the polls would close at the Board of Election. Now, don't take your absentee form to the polls. There's no reason to do that because you're voting on absentee, and they don't want to collect them at the polls. So even though that might seem like something you should do, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay.
All right. And if you're going to mail it in, it needs to be postmarked no later than midnight tonight.
Okay.
All right. But, State Issue 1, you had the nice show about it, the nice forum there. We've had articles in the paper about it. It is the single issue that is on the statewide ballot. At least it's the only state issue. And in Jackson County and Vinton County, there are no other issues on the ballot. It is just State Issue 1. This is a special election.
Yeah.
And it's all about whether the rules on an initiative petition for the state constitution should be changed. Right now, if you can get enough signatures, and they're verified signatures, you can get what is called an initiative on the ballot.
Right.
And if you can get that passed, in the general election, or I suppose a primary election or any election, it becomes part of the Constitution, state law. You don't have to get it approved by the legislature or anything like that. So you can kind of, this is the people's way to make laws.
Correct.
It hasn't been done very often because it's not easy to do. But the issue involved in State Issue 1, once again, because a lot of people, they still ask questions about it, it would change the rules on the initiative petition. Instead of just 50% plus one on a ballot issue on an initiative, it would be 60%. It would be harder to change the state constitution. You got people who argue that it should be that way. It shouldn't be easy to change the state constitution. And then you have people on the other side saying democracy, democracy. It should be a simple majority if you want to change the state constitution. So that is the main question.
It's so ironic because it's a constitutional amendment about changing constitutional amendments. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of bizarre.
Right. And
it's confusing to everyone. And
I've had people continue to ask me about it, even though, I know that there's been a lot put out there.
Yep.
There is a lot of campaigning going on behind the scenes.
I'm just going to tell you, some of the stuff I've gotten in the mail has been quite bizarre, to say the least.
I've done a little research, and both sides, kind of vilify. Maybe that's a little bit of a strong word, but they criticize the other side, and they say it's special interest from out of state. It's both ways.
Yeah,
it's both ways. There's a lot of issues that are kind of behind the scenes, including the abortion rights thing, because of the initiative that may be on the general election thing, but other issues as well, as people try to weigh the advantages of how the Constitution can be changed and how easy it should be to do.
Political silly season, as my dad would always say.
But I voted over the weekend, Jennifer, and there's actually a little bit more activity than people would have thought because, you know,
Good.
on a special election, it just seems like, you know, maybe
Nobody
in
votes.
single digits unless you're motivated to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, in this country, I think it's so sad that some people won't go to the polls unless it's a presidential election year or something.
Correct.
But when I voted on Saturday, there were 1,335 people who had voted in person. That does not count the absentees or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Now, keep in mind there's 20,000 registered voters or something like that in Jackson County. I may be off a little bit, so that may not sound like a lot, but that doesn't even count the polls. The polls will be open as normal tomorrow.
A lot of people,
just
by
like
golly,
election or
want to go
primary.
vote on election day. You know, that's a tradition, and that's what they do.
Right. And so, you know, still more people vote on election day than early or absentee, even though those numbers are going up on the early absentee thing.
That seems like a pretty good turnout then.
So
Pete.
it does through a special single issue election where there's nothing local.
Yeah. Well,
So
like
that's
I
good.
said, I've had numerous people show up at our building wanting to
Still.
know where to vote. So
Right. And you can explain about state issue one. when that happens.
yeah. What do you want to know?
Okay, but anyway, that's on the ballot tomorrow. Polls will be open as usual from 6:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. That's
So plenty of time to
That's
vote.
regular hours. And remember, in Vinton County now, there are new polling locations for some voters.
Yes.
Remember, they've consolidated, and so you know, check the Vinton County Board of Elections website or one of our file stories on that, because some people are not voting the same place.
Right. And if you get confused about like what precinct you're in or whatever, you can hit the Ohio Secretary of State's website, and there's all kind of search things there where you can just type your name in, and it'll basically tell you where you vote and what precinct you're in. Because I'm in Franklin, and I always forget because there's like Franklin 1 and 2. I think Franklin 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's
So
it's
I don't
confusing.
know why I can't remember that. So I went on there just to make sure I was,
Yeah, all the
what I
polling-
thought was right.
All the polling places in Jackson County are the same, even though they've changed in recent years.
Yeah.
So some people are still getting used to that,
Yeah.
you know, if they skipped an election or whatever. But moving on, there was one part of Pig Iron Day that I covered on the back end. Jeremiah will have more detailed coverage with some
Okay.
photos here. But I covered the car show. And that was one of the
Cool.
things that drives the crowd at Pig Iron Day.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, people come maybe more persons than just one in each vehicle. Well, you know, they come and, you know, they see all these classic cars in the lot, and even across the creek on the other side by Walgreens, 124 vehicles.
That's
So
awesome.
that's a lot. Last year, for instance, the rain makes such a difference. There was 30-some vehicles because it was a rainy day.
It rained.
But 124. And the Wheels of Steel Car Show by the Appalachia Old Car Club, obviously a success. They gave away so many trophies, and they didn't have a best of show, but they had what they call a car club favorite, where the car club members themselves, and you know they know their vehicles because most of them have their own, but the car club members picked for the car club favorite was Mike Mace of Bainbridge, and there it is. A beautiful 1967 Oldsmobile 442. Mr. Mace is from Bainbridge. He's there
Nice.
with that 5-foot trophy. And to the left is John Smith,
Yep.
the Appalachia Old Car Club president, who was very happy with the day. A long day, but very happy day. It ended up that the car show results really weren't ready to be announced until between 4 and 4:30. And this was a great tourism thing. They get tourism money, and they should get it, because a lot of these car owners, and it's just not cars, but trucks and other classic vehicles,
Yes,
they
they-
come from out of town.
From everywhere, yeah.
And this is such a big boon to Pig Iron Day, because, you know, those folks probably need to eat lunch.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So that was good. We're going to go over some other things really quickly there before we bring Phil Buffington on with a couple of our bigger hard news stories. The Rogan Vickers Memorial Jeep Ride was held in Wellston on
Yes.
Saturday. We're going to have some more information on that. But 59 Jeeps, or 59 vehicles, mostly Jeeps. You can see them there on 2nd Avenue in Wellston as they come out of the lot there, the old Pants Factory lot. They went on a long trip. Not sure where they went, but they started in downtown Wellston, and they ended in downtown Wellston. They had a big party at the Patio Grubs and Suds there.
Love that.
The former Rocket Pizza had a party there, had Charlie Mannering and Tallahassee Freight out of retirement to sing there.
Oh, cool.
And this is all to raise money for the Rogan Vickers Memorial Fund, and they use that money for scholarships. They did 2 last year. They may be able to do more this year. Keep on keeping on. That's what they call it in memory of Rogan Vickers. Rogan Vickers, of course, the young Wellston area youth who lost his life in an automobile accident 2 years ago last summer. We'll have more on that as well. Okay, Jackson High School Marching Ironmen had their Meet the Band event on not last Friday, but the Friday before that, Friday,
Fun.
July the 29th. Always a big event at Alumni Stadium because it's a big band.
Sure.
The band, I don't know whether you can tell in this photo, but can you see the raindrops there?
Yeah, I can.
All right, well, these kids went out there, out on the field. They're ready to do their pregame, and the
Unleashed.
heavens opened
Yeah.
up. About a 10-minute downpour. Director of bands Ryan Hurd was very proud of how they hung in there and performed without missing a beat. There he is up on the ladder. Ryan's been here about 10 years now.
Isn't that wild?
Been the director 6 years, and he has kept up the standard of the Marching Ironmen,
Yes.
I think. But 140 members this year. Oh, and there it is. Look at the rainbow there.
That's perfect.
The skies cleared, and there was a rainbow over Alumni Stadium for most of their performance. So
Love that.
So we're going to have a story on that, hopefully, in our Wednesday paper. But the band, little fewer members this year. They were up to 170. They're down to 140 this year. And Ryan Hurd says, why is that? It's COVID, he says. The senior class were freshmen when COVID hit.
Okay.
And the freshmen, the new freshmen, were beginners in the year of COVID. So that affected the numbers that were in the
Sure.
band. And so we have 2 classes affected by COVID. Now, he says they have one of the biggest 8th grade classes they ever had waiting in the wings. So
Okay.
those numbers will probably go up next year.
Sure.
But the band will be performing as usual at all the football games. They'll be in all the Apple Festival parades. They'll be the host band for the big Apple Festival band show on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They can announce that the Ohio University Marching 110 will be in the Apple Festival band show and in the grand finale parade on Saturday
Yay.
night. They've been able to have the percussion unit in recent years, but they've got the whole daggone band this year
That's
for
awesome.
the Apple Festival and the band show. So you can look for that coverage coming up in
That's going to be cool.
in Wednesday's paper. Hey, were you downtown last Thursday for the
I
sidewalk?
was.
Man, was there a lot of people down
There
there.
were a lot of people. It was super fun, and got to see a ton of people and pups as well.
Right. I think there were maybe 300 people and 200 dogs.
Yes.
I mean, I was surprised when I drove through town.
Yes.
But anyway,
great.
kudos to the chamber and everybody who has participated in that. And there was a young lady named Jalen Smith. I think you know who she is.
Yes.
Well, Red was down there walking around taking pictures, and he heard her singing, and he went and took her picture there. I heard her because I ate at the restaurant that night.
She has the voice of an angel.
No,
That's what I just kept telling her dad that. We were there, she was on our on the brewery patio.
Yeah, I don't know
And I'm
what
like,
you would label her, what genre, but it was.
Oh.
There she is right there. But she sings with a lot of heart.
Yes.
And she was connecting with the crowd there at Sixth Sense.
Mhm.
So you know that was just one of the
She's
many
great.
things going on downtown. All right. Also, Nolan Collins was the guest at the Homegrown Happy Hour
Yes.
last Thursday.
Speaking of great.
They've had a great show every Thursday, and Nolan Collins, there he is. He was the guest last Thursday. Of course, they will be back this coming Thursday at Rowdy Smokehouse, 7 p.m. live show, also on WYRO and WXTZ out of Athens. That's a live show, but the show...
XTQ, yeah.
Okay, all right. WXTQ, sorry about that, in Athens. That's one of the news stations that Total Media has, and that's part of the Homegrown Happy Hour.
Yes.
And I think if you go to the Homegrown Happy Hour, the guest performer, along with host Ben Davis Jr., are doing singing and songs and performances that go beyond that hour for the
Yes.
standard show that is
They keep on
the air.
trucking.
Right. Okay. We want to remind you that the Jackson High School will have their open house tonight at 6 to 7 p.m. That is for an orientation for new students, freshmen and new students coming
Okay.
into Jackson High School. Okay, also, we want to remind you, or I don't think we mentioned this last Friday, so I'm not reminding you. I'm telling you it's the first time. I think we might have Amanda Crabtree in later in the week
Okay.
to talk about the big back-to-school bash at the Vinton County National Bank in MacArthur. That's going to be next Saturday. It's going to be next Saturday, and it's from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on the grassy lot next to the bank's Depot Drive drive-through in MacArthur. And they're going to have inflatables, lunch, goodie bags for kids, a visit from Saver Squirrel, whoever that is. They're going to have,
Okay.
they're going to have the free hot dogs, the popcorn machine, and slushies. So that sounds like a good thing to
Yeah.
go to, even if you're not looking for school supplies.
Exactly.
But I think Amanda will tell us more about that. We've had that in the paper as well.
That's cool.
Jackson Area YMCA will have a community-wide yard sale on Saturday, August 12th. That's where you can go set up there. So it's like a big old flea market. But that will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday at the YMCA. And they will use the money from the vendor spaces that are rented out for their financial assistance program and operations, and to just assist the Y in general. Reservations for a space through 2 parking spots will cost $25 and will be sold on a first-come, first-served basis. Hamden firefighters will have a Chinese auction this Saturday, and this is a big fundraiser for them. They've been promoting it for months. It will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Hamden Firefighters Community Building on Railroad Street in Hamden. And we want to show you one other picture. We had this on the front page. We usually don't put pictures that other people take on the front page because we use our own. But this was one that the Jackson City Library posted, and we thought it was so cool. We put it on the front page. Dylan, if you could put that up, it's from the Barker Farm Petting Zoo's visit to the Four Winds community.
Oh, I love
there
it.
it is. Now that camel, I'm sure we've seen it before at different local events, but it was out at Four Winds community, and you can see, one of the Four Winds residents.
What's his name, James?
Communing with the camel.
Daniel, the camel.
Daniel the camel. Daniel's pretty famous, and you see
Yes.
Daniel's a pretty good fella.
He is a very sweet fellow.
But that was such a great thing. Roger Donaldson, the library, does a great job with
That
outreach
is
with
so
the
good.
library, not just, with the typical services that you think of with the library, but with other events that are good for the community. So want to give him a shout out there. Okay, we're going to bring Phil Buffington on, our associate editor. He
Look at him, how excited he is.
He is a dynamite reporter on the public affairs. He covers, some of our school boards and city councils and commissioners and like
Yes.
that. And there's been some very notable stories that just happened last week. He's going to tell you about a couple of them.
Love
Then we'll
that.
bring on Jeremiah Shaver, and he'll tell you how good the hot dog sauce was at Pig Iron
Big
Day.
Iron Day. Awesome. Come on over, Phil. I know you're chomping at the bit to get here and be part of this show. Thanks, Pete.
Hello. I'm glad you could sense my enthusiasm.
He has twins, people. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
If he falls asleep here, it's fine. We'll just let you go.
Yeah. I used to sleep. I remember that.
I remember sleep once.
Yeah, that was all right.
So no, typically when you come on, Phil, there's
Death and destruction.
things. Well, that's not exactly what I was going to say, but things of notable interest. Let's
Gotcha.
put it that
Okay.
way, or some really good tea, one or the other that you get to spill. So what's going on?
Well, nothing too violent this time. Last week at the commissioners meeting, there is something that doesn't happen all too often, but there was a nonprofit group called Arc of Appalachia that are interested in 100 acres of land just off of Spencer Road. That's in Jackson Township.
Okay, where's that?
It's close to Savageville School Road. It's about a mile north of there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little more than 100 acres, but apparently this land has been in the same family for at least 2 or 3 generations. The current owner lives up around the Columbus area.
Okay.
And this group is going through the Ohio Public Works Commission through the Clean Ohio grant program to try to attain this land. And their overall goal for this is to install about 2 miles worth of trails and to just build a little parking lot. And that's it. They don't really want to build anything outside of that. They don't want to disturb the land whatsoever. They did mention maybe putting up a placard or an information stand type thing like at Lake
Okay.
Catherine to allow people to, read a little bit about it. But the two gentlemen that were there from Arc of Appalachia said that this is one of the most beautiful pieces of property they've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Especially for its rock face. It has a huge rock overhang, like how we have out at Lake Catherine.
Yeah.
It's really similar in its appearance, but they have to get the permission of the commissioners and the Jackson Township trustees in order to be able to do this. It won't cost the county anything. Apparently won't cost Arc of Appalachia anything if they're successful in getting the grant.
Okay.
But they really had a lot of positive things to say. These guys have been doing this for close to 30 years, and they said this is one of the most beautiful pieces of property they've seen. They currently have a handful of these preserve-type spots, all in Appalachia, most in southern Ohio, and they have about 50 miles worth of trails. And though the commissioners did want them to iron out some details ahead of time, because they have one thing they want to specify is this group has a hunting program that they allow a certain number of people to come and deer hunt on these properties.
Okay.
And so given the fact that the county has had some groups come and promise certain things with these types of properties that aren't always followed through with,
Sure.
they want to get that ironed out ahead of time. So these gentlemen seem to be more than happy to accommodate. So I expect they'll be back maybe this week or next, because the grant program actually, they need to have everything in order as far as having the property in hand by the end of September.
Okay.
So I'm sure they'll be back, but that might be another opportunity for people to go out and enjoy nature undisturbed. And they did say that through their group, they have a program called the Trailblazers program, where I don't know if it's a paid thing. I think it's mostly volunteers, but they have a group of people that actually monitor. It's usually people who live close by that are willing to do it.
That keep up the property, or
at least keep
make
an eye
sure
on it.
Yeah.
That way-
no chicaneries going on.
Right. And if anything would, happen like that, then they could reach out to the art group. They could come out and rectify that.
Gotcha.
So that's something coming
that's
up.
Fun.
Yeah.
And cool to get to share, part of the beauty that we all love so much with, the outside world.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I mean, if anything, it might draw in some tourism. They thought, roughly 1,000 people a year might step foot out there. So they think that if everything goes the way it's supposed to, they're able to get the property and they get the grant, that this could be ready to go by next summer. So
Wow.
we'll keep
Well,
an eye
you
on
think
that.
about, especially during COVID, but I just think because of COVID, think how many people, there were days where they were closing Lake Catherine, like they were shutting down the road because there were so many folks out there walking and enjoying things. And I think that that's keeping up. Like, I think people are just more apt now to get outside and want to walk and do those kind of things. Look at Hocking Hills. My gosh.
yeah.
It's just completely blown up.
Well,
I mean, it was big before, but it's
especially, that was one of the only things you could do. Was to just go outside.
correct.
And,
And then everyone was like, wait, I kind of enjoyed this. This is peaceful.
I'll never forget going out to, because usually when you go to Lake Catherine, there for the longest time, you go, there's two cars.
Yeah,
maybe.
there's nobody there.
There was nowhere to park. I mean, we had to park almost toward the actual entrance in the grass.
Yep.
And it was like being at Hocking Hills. And usually you don't see another human being when you're out at Lake Catherine.
But
it's
times have changed.
Yeah, it's a good thing that people realize that. I mean,
Sure.
that's been in our backyard all along.
I know.
And it's really well maintained. It really is. You don't hardly ever see any trash, anything like that out there.
No, well, you'd hope not.
Yeah,
You would hope not.
And then the other bit of news I have, this is ongoing too, Wellston's sesquicentennial celebration.
Look at you. Woo!
And this of course got kind of brought into the limelight a couple months ago when they actually started to make plans. This has been ongoing. There for a while they had meetings, every other week. They're meeting weekly now to get some ideas from the public and from all the various civic groups in Wellston. This is the 150th year of Wellston being founded. And then it's the 50th Ohilco Festival. So they're going to tie all that in for that first week of September and really just have a bigger Ohilco festival more
Have
than
a big
anything.
old bash.
So one of the things that they've talked about doing since the start was to fire the cannon in Monument Square. And it turns out this cannon has quite a history to it. It was originally one of 3 cannons that was stationed in South Carolina. The other 2 cannons got shipped to, I think, Fayetteville, Tennessee. They're both being used as a Civil War monument like this one in Wellston. So part of the plan is to get the cannon sandblasted and in better order. They were rebored after they were used as coastal guns in South Carolina, so they're not the exact same shape they were when they were used in the Civil War.
Okay.
So they want to get it spruced up, maybe get a plaque put, in that general area to allow people to read where it came from. And that's just a
cool.
little bit of what I told you there. So that's
have you ever seen Sweet Home Alabama, the movie?
Yes.
Where the old guy just was firing the cannons at everybody.
They said this thing's
Like, oh God.
this thing's going to be pretty loud from everything that I've been told. So
That's pretty cool.
apparently this is they've contracted someone to come and actually fire it. Now they're not going to shoot a cannonball out of it, obviously.
Well,
but
what do you do to fire it that someone isn't going to die?
they'll probably just put a blank in it, and it'll just be a big boom. There won't be any. I don't think there will be anything come out. Maybe just a blast, but I don't think any shrapnel will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so much for the mayor's office.
part of this plan is, and like I said, this is all still being worked out. There is going to be someone come and fire the cannon. That's for sure.
Okay.
That will be on the first day of the festival, which is a Wednesday. I think it's September 6th. Someone will come and fire it. They're thinking about picking someone from the community to ceremoniously light the cannon, but that will be actually done by the professional.
Probably best.
Yeah. So they're still figuring out who might be a good candidate for that role to ceremoniously light the cannon. But according to the last meeting, which, like I said, this is still being worked out, but it's going to be fired to open the annual opening parade for the festival.
Fun.
So that'll kick things off. And then in addition to that, there was already going to be a fireworks display this year because it's the 50th Ohilco Festival. And so the Ohilco Society had, I think, $7,000 or $8,000 set aside for a fireworks display. The city has agreed to supplement that. So it will be probably on par with what you saw for the 4th of July in Wilson, which is a pretty big fireworks display.
Yeah.
Upwards of 15,000 or so. So that's another thing that's going to be happening. Another piece of this is they want to get new welcome signs throughout the town, but this one on the south end of town specifically, they would like to offer the opportunity for area high school students to come up with a design, and then they'll pick the best during the festival, and then they'll implement that idea.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it can't be, some extravagant, thing that they can't pull off. So it'll have to be within certain parameters that haven't been released yet. So that's another thing that they would like to do. They've also talked about hanging up some ceremonial banners like they have in Monument Square, like in the picture that Dylan just showed. And they typically have those throughout the downtown area. I'm not sure how many of those are left up right now, but they would like to do that. They've had discussions on, having decade-themed street dances, like have 50s at 5, 60s at 6, 70s at 7. And just, a lot more. It's going to be the same Ohilco Festival with just a lot more added onto it. And I know in the past they had talked about digging up that time capsule, but I don't believe that's going to happen now because I don't think anyone knew how much was actually down there. It's a full-size casket. It would probably tear up most of the street.
Yeah,
so I'd say that's not.
Probably don't want to do that.
I don't think that'll happen. So this continues on. There will be more meetings coming up, but I thought it was pretty neat that they want to actually use this cannon. The last time the cannon was fired was in 1973 for the centennial celebration in Wellston. So it's been that long. It's been 50 years since it's been fired. And this will be, like I said, the 50th Ohilco. The Ohilco actually started because of the centennial celebration and then just continued thereafter.
Yeah,
it was meant to be a one-off thing.
Yeah.
But since people seem to enjoy it, they continued it on. So this will be likely the biggest Ohoko Festival yet. And I'm sure there will be a lot more to it than what I just mentioned here. But this is the one thing I know for sure. Johnny might not want to open that day because I would be afraid.
Look out, Johnny.
Yeah, look out.
No more Peking cook.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, that's all I have for you.
Well, very good. Okay, speaking of fairs and festivals, are you a ride person?
It's been a while since I've been on any sort of ride, but I like Cedar Point roller coasters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Me too. What's your favorite fair and festival food?
I really like those cinnamon rolls at the Apple Festival.
Oh
Now I know that's not a common thing because I don't know like if all
the
festivals
Malner
have.
cinnamon
Yeah,
rolls.
that's ridiculous. Those are ridiculously good.
They are. Yeah, it's a good thing they only come around once a year.
Yeah,
Let's just put it that way.
I ate one sweating in my car last year and kind of turned me off from it a little bit. But it wasn't the cinnamon roll's fault.
No, it
It's my
was
fat
the
old
heat.
body's fault. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But I
they
will
are.
eat one again for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. I would have to agree with you on that for sure. All right. Well, you are dismissed then.
Thank you,
I know
madam.
you're sad about that. Thanks for hanging with us, Phil.
welcome.
And Jeremiah's here, so he has some stuff to talk about too.
Morning, Jen.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
A little tired. I'm sure, like everybody else, that thunderstorm about 4:30 woke everybody up.
Wow, that was a hoot and a half. You look real nice with your haircut and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Got cleaned up
You got-
last week.
Yeah.
Finally got that cut and trimmed this up a little bit. I was looking a little, I don't know what you say, grizzly asms or whatever there, but
No, with this stupid storm. So we picked this weekend to start trying to let all of the corgi puppy not sleep in her playpen at night, to just let her roam the house and
Okay.
see how that goes. So we did Saturday night, which was A-okay and fine. And last night happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? And as you can imagine, she was like at the side of the bed, like, Mom, Mom, Mom,
Mom,
Mom.
help.
There's loud noises out there. I'm really
Yeah.
scared.
I will say the little guy slept through it,
That's good.
but it woke me up, and then I had trouble getting back to sleep
Yeah.
after that.
No, it was a pretty crazy storm overnight. And then, of course, the power goes out, comes back on, goes out, comes back on.
I don't think ours stayed on.
Yeah, ours flickered
never-
like 2 or 3 times, which we sleep with a fan on in
Yeah.
the bedroom. So then
We
it's
do
like
too, yep.
off it goes on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Pig
Right.
Iron Day.
Pig Iron Day. I know when Pete was on, he mentioned you're supposed to ask me about the hot dog sauce.
Yeah.
He said.
he
Well, we-
said he wanted to know whether the hot dog sauce was good or not.
Yeah, it was very good. I'm not sure who made it, but I had my favorite when I cover this, because I've covered it off and on over the years. I love to get the soup beans. So I have
Oh,
my soup beans.
Are so good. Yes.
They cook them in a kettle pot over the fire there down there at Manpower, and I don't know if they do it all night or what, but it's always
I think
so
they start
good.
at 3
Yeah,
a.m.
yeah, so they're fantastic, and
Yep.
so I made a bowl of those, and I had a corn muffin with it, and
Mhm.
I decided to get a hot dog this year. I've never had the hot dog, and they're like, "Do you want sauce?" And I said, "Sure."
Well,
So
why
they-
not? I
they-
mean, if you're
yeah.
gonna go for it, go
Yeah,
for
so
it.
they put that sauce on there, and it's probably the best sauce I have ever had. Like I don't know who
Really?
made it, but it was just fantastic.
Nice.
But it was really good. It was a good day down there this year. It was the 30th annual, so 3 decades of celebrating Pig Iron Day, and we've had Jackson Fire Chief Dave Channel on, and he's
Yes.
talked a little bit about Pig Day and how it started. I think he said 1994 was the first year for that. And so I got to go out, and we spent several hours down there. Our very own Dylan Euler got his first taste of Pig Iron Day. He was down there with me,
What'd you
trailing
think, Dylan?
about.
It was fun. I mean, it was hot, but it was fun.
Did you get to see some cool cars?
I did.
Cool.
There was a lot of them.
A lot of cool cars. Got to talk to some folks, and I think Dylan's going to try to put together a little video. I kind of played host for him, and he did the
Nice.
filming, and we'll see how that comes together.
Good job.
So that was fun, and
Did you bounce in any bouncy houses or
I
anything?
I did not. No, we had to do the intro several times because people kept honking as
Really?
They go by. I get one going, and then next thing I know, here's my wife's grandparents coming down the street,
Toot
just
toot.
wailing on the horn, and I'm like, great, we're gonna have to shoot that again. So.
That's
Anyhow,
hilarious.
but Dylan, if you'll put some pictures up, we'll just kind of walk through it, and I'll talk a little bit about it. So here you have that's Tommy Hill.
Tommy Hill, yes.
With his DJ services there in the gazebo.
He's old like me. We graduated together.
Okay, he did a real good job down there, and did the DJ service and music. Did lots of announcements there from the gazebo. I will say I climbed up in the gazebo during the auction, and there was a lot of wasps flying around.
Oh,
so
no.
I don't know. Maybe next year he needs to bring a can of bug spray with him or something.
Some fogger or something.
Yeah, something. But here's the kind of a picture of the shelter house. This is where they set up for the food. I will say I had to wait in a line to get my food.
Did you?
And it was, from the tent there, and it was wrapped down to the corner and back down to the other corner of the shelter house. And it was pretty consistent there after they opened up. I think Dave told me that they had a line lined up, because they started food at 11. They had a line lined up at like 10 or 10:30, I think he said.
Waiting in line
people waiting for food. And there's some of the guys from the Jackson Firefighters Association. I had some notes here. He told me that they had 400 hot dogs prepared. They sold out of those. They were $1 a piece. So there's, they made $400 there. And then they had bratwurst too. They had 200 of those, $2 a piece. So there's $400. They had 120 pounds of soup beans. And inside the soup beans, they had 50 pounds of ham. And then they had pulled pork sandwiches as well. Now, they didn't sell out of the soup beans or the pulled pork, but they did sell out of the other items, which I thought was good.
Yeah.
So that's good for them. Here's another. I think this is a fellow from Liberty Township Volunteer Fire Department. They kind of give the Jackson Fire Association. The Jackson Fire Department has a helping hand from the firefighters at Liberty Township, as well as the Kiwanis Club, and you also have the Appalachia Old Clerk Club that also give them a hand. There's just some action shots of somebody scooping some beans.
It looks good to me.
Yeah, they were very good. I usually get 2, but I only got 1 because I wanted to try the hot dog this year. So it was very good. I think we had some photos. There's some of the car show. I didn't write down. I know Pete talked about the car show. Did he say how many cars they had?
100 and...
So he did mention that.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it was over 100 this year.
Was it 27 or 47?
120 something.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
I think 127.
So this was during the auction.
A lot of cars.
Yeah, they had a good turnout. So it was all filled down there in Manpower Park, and then they had them up in the grass between the creek and Walgreens there. But I know John Smith, who's the president of Appalachian Car Club, told us that there was at least over 100 in attendance. But this was during the pig iron auction. Had a number of people turn out for that. We'll include their name, all the folks that bought in that. I will say between the pig iron plaques, they had a barrel from Speyside and a barrel lid from Speyside. All that together came up to $2,185 that they made through the auction this year. And, usually the association, they take that money and they use it to buy equipment for the fire department. And this year, Channel was telling me that they were wanting to get 9 new air packs. And the cost for those is anywhere from $60,000 to $65,000, he said. And he said they did put in for a grant. He's hoping maybe that'll come through, but if not, he's hoping maybe the association will kick in funds towards that, and maybe they can just take some money from their budget and be able to get those because they're obviously required.
Sure.
That's what that's the tank
you
on their back.
You kind of need air to fight a fire.
Right. Yeah. If they got to go
breathe.
in, they got to be able to breathe. But there's Jackson Fire Chief Dave Channel with one of the plaques, and Tim Henderson there doing the auctioneer. I will say before they had the auction, they did a little surprise for Dave. His wife was telling me, so here's, I don't know is there no sound on this? You don't have to give the sound. That's okay. So yeah, I think that's Steve Moore there. He's a part of the Jackson Fire Association. He's a Jackson firefighter as well. he is telling the crowd, that Dave's been involved in this for 2 decades. The association took it over in the 10th year.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this barrel lid, they had got one to auction off.
Yeah.
And he was telling his wife when they went to pick up the barrel and the lid, he goes, man, that lid's nice. He goes, I'd love whoever bought that to give it to me, or something. And so she talked to Space Side about it, and
Aw.
they donated an additional lid
Love
to
that.
present to him as a token of appreciation for all the work and dedication that he has put into this.
That's
Because
super cool.
he's the leading man for that Pig Iron Day down there. I mean,
Of course.
he has a lot of help, but he's the one that kind of plans and puts all that together. And he was, I don't know if you can tell, but he's a little emotional right there. And I had
Deserved.
I had taken a photo, and he actually came up to me after the auction. He goes, "Can we take another photo?" He goes, "I was a little not tore up, but
Yeah.
a little emotional." He goes, "Do you care to do another photo
Sure.
with me and Steve?" And I said, "That's fine." So
He
we,
was the one that he was crying in, though, right?
we didn't use that one. I think Dylan has one there where they're posed. Do you have that one?
Oh, let me take a look.
Maybe
Wait,
not.
I don't think I do.
He doesn't have it. Well, anyway, I gave him a lot of photos. There was a lot that went on down there for that Pig Iron Day. And let's see, we went over the auction, went over kind of the food. Pete already went over the cars, but it's just a great event that they have down there. And
Did you have a favorite car that you saw?
there was a Mustang. I don't know what year it was, but it was the sharpest black I've ever seen. It was
really?
like one of those old. I don't know what year it was, but it was one of those old. It wasn't like a Shelby Mustang or anything, but it was one of those older Mustangs.
Uh-huh.
It was the prettiest black you'd ever seen. But so that was a little bit about Pig Iron Day, and just kudos to those guys on 30 years down there for that.
Can you believe? That's what I was telling Pete. I'm like, I think I was there for the first one. That was one of those where Dad handed me the microphone and said, "Here,
cover
I don't
it."
have anybody to go talk at this new event thing. Go interview people."
Yeah. So there was a good crowd down there for that, and we'll have a story and photos in hopefully Wednesday's edition, because I'm gonna start working on it when I get out of here.
Very good.
A couple other little things we could touch
Yeah.
on. I had a couple of events here we'll run into, and we'll save this other thing for Pete when he comes back. Let's see here. Let me start with this one. So the Grace Baptist Fellowship Church there in Wellston. It's located on the corner of 4th Street and York Avenue there in the city of Wellston. They'll be hosting Twists and Turns. It's a vacation Bible school.
Okay.
And that is through the 11th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. each evening. And there will be classes from nursery through adult for that. So I kind of wanted to get that out. I think we had that in the paper the weekend, and just wanted to mention it because it was kind of last minute there. I probably still can't say this, but we'll try again. Oak Hill.
Pete nailed it, and so did Phil. So just
So the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce announced that their August event to celebrate the Village of Oak Hill's sesquicentennial.
yay!
There you go. That's 150th anniversary celebration. It'll be an old time corn roast and cornhole tournament.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah, so they're going to have that down at Etna Park there in the village on Saturday, August 19th at 1 o'clock. The event is free, and it'll feature local roasted corn and drinks, and they'll also have that cornhole tournament with prizes. And that's being sponsored by the chamber. So that's kind of the event for August, for that celebration, because they have something going on every month through the end of the year. I know Pete was on and was talking about the giant acorn that they're hoping to establish there in the village. Hopefully that'll come to fruition. What to see. I don't know if he mentioned how on the donations, where they were at on donations.
$30-some $100, I think.
30 some. It should have been like 3,000 some.
Yeah, 3,000, 30-some $100,
Yeah.
3,000.
Yes.
Same thing.
Right. Yes. Anyhow, it's a Monday.
And I'm the
Jen.
blonde one.
Hey, it's a Monday, okay? The Jackson First Church of the Nazarene, located on Powell Drive.
Okay.
They will host their monthly free breakfast for veterans, and that is also on Saturday, August 19th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
The breakfast is held in the church's gym, and the breakfast is open to all military veterans, active military personnel, and their families. And it's my understanding that they usually have a pretty good turnout for that.
Yeah.
Come get some breakfast and fellowship, and it's a
Very
great
cool.
thing they do for the veterans here in the community.
Yes, it is.
So there's you rundown, and we'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Jeremiah. No, we appreciate you stopping by, everybody. I feel so loved today. I have like
Lots
all
of
you guys stopping by to
visitors
see us today. But no, we hope that you've enjoyed the recap of the weekend and some of the major events going on or up and coming as well. And we will be back here tomorrow. Do we have a guest tomorrow, Dylan? I forgot to look.
I believe we're playing the issue 1 video.
Oh, okay. Election day, issue 1 video. Okay.
I had somebody asking about that.
Yep.
I saw on my way in here, had sent a message in asking. They're like, I saw this issue 1 video, but it didn't have the pro side. It only had the no side. And it looked like somebody responded back and said the pro side was there. You just got to watch it about 20 some minutes in, and you'll get to the pro side.
Yeah.
So it's the no side and then the yes side.
Yep. There
on
you
that
go.
video there. So
Yep, just watch the whole thing.
watch the whole thing.
All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. We thank you so much for watching, and we'll be right back here tomorrow with some election day coverage.
Yeah, don't forget, tomorrow's election day.
That's right. See you then. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.